Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I show the gameplay by Matej and Julien, and this beautiful game complete in only 40 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the knight to f3, d5, d4, knight f6, c4, e6, g3, and now the black capture the pawn, d takes c4, then bishop to g2, and a6 was played. And this is the first 5 moves, and you can see that the position is equal for both sides. Then the game continue with the knight to e5, trying to attack back the pawn. And here the black continue to play bishop to b4 and check the king. So the white continue to develop the knight to c3, and now the black continue to attack with the knight to d5, attacking the knight. So the white just go for a short castling, and the black also go for a short castling. Then the white goes to queen c2, and b5 was played. And now the white play a4, trying to attack the pawn, and this pawn a cannot capture back. If you capture back, the rook will capture the rook at h8 and will be winning. And after this position, the bishop just capture the knight. And here this is the first 10 move, and you can see that the white is better because it's able to bring the bishop, the pawn, towards the center of the board with b takes c3, and these two pawn is quite good in this position. So after this, f6 was played, trying to attack the knight, and the knight goes to g4. Then bishop to b7, and e4 was played, trying to attack the knight, and you bring another pawn into the center of the board. So after this, knight b6 was played, and now queen to b1. Then c6 was played, and here the white play a5, trying to attack the knight. And now the knight move away and goes to c8. So after this move, you can see that the black has been moving much of the pieces at the rank 8, and you can see this position is much of this is underdeveloped, and therefore the white is better in this position. And this is the first 15 move. Then the white continue to play e5, pushing up the pawn, and here we allow bishop diagonal to be active, and the queen also active to attack the pawn at h7. So f5 was played, trying to attack the knight, and now knight to e3. Then queen to c7, and here the bishop just moved to a3 and trying to attack the rook at f8. Then rook to f7 was played, and now f4. And you can see that here maintain a very strong structure position, and you can see such triangle, then the pawn can attack many of the square, and it's quite active in the board. So the queen just capture one of the pawn, and this allow the bishop freely to move and attack. you can just move here to attack the queen, and the rook will be double attack. Or you can just move the bishop to any place, queen. So after this, queen to e, this queen will protect the pawn at c3. And here the white also have the idea of use the knight to capture the pawn, and if the pawn capture, then this pawn will just push forward and promote the queen idea. So after this, if you play a example move such as a rook to a7, you can just have the idea of using the knight to attack, and if you use a rook to capture it back the knight, then you can just use the pawn at g4 to attack the rook, and if the rook back to f7, then you can just storm with the f5 pawn. And if you capture with the pawn, then here the white will be clearly winning, as this pawn will be able to push and promote as a queen. So e6 can be played, and now if you rook back to f6, then you can go back, push the pawn to e7, and if the knight just capture, then you can just use a queen to capture. And now the next move is to move to e8 and check the king, and will be a winning, and also the queen can capture the knight. And here if you just move the knight to d7, then the queen just capture the free knight, and here you can see that in this position the white is winning a piece ahead and will be winning the game. And back to protect the knight, as the rook to a8, then the queen will just move to rook, queen e8, and if you block with the rook, the queen will just capture and it will be a checkmate. And back to this position, if you move the pawn up to allow the king to escape, then the bishop can just move to b4, attack the queen, and now you can see the queen has no place to move, and the white will winning the queen. And if the queen back to b6, then the bishop will continue to move to c5 and continue to attack the queen. And now again the queen has no place to move, and the best move is just to capture the bishop. And here the white will be completely winning the game. So after queen to e1, then the white will have a lot of ideas to keep on the attack, and therefore the queen just back to d8 and to protect the position. And now g4 was played, trying to use another pawn to attack the f pawn. And now if you use the knight take the pawn, then the pawn will just capture, and if you try to push the pawn up, and here it doesn't work because you have the queen to guard the e file. So if you rook to f6, then now you cannot push down because you have the knight to control. For example, if you push down, just move the queen to e8, or you can just use the knight to capture it back. And if the bishop capture the knight, then the queen will just move up. So at this position, the queen can just move to e8, then the black will have the decisive advantage of winning knight. And here the pawn cannot be pushed down, and nothing much the white can do. So back to this position, a g4 was played, and to bring more of the pawn to attack the black colors. So the black continue to play a g6 to prevent the action, and now the pawn just capture and g just capture the f5. Then the white play king to h1 and preparing to use the rook and attack the king. So knight to d7 was played, and now rook to g1, and with this you use the bishop to attack the pawn, and you'll be in the open check and attack the king. So after this, king just moved to h8 to prevent the check. And here the bishop to f3 was played, and now the knight just go to f8. After this, bishop to c5, and here the knight continue to move to g6. Then at this position, the white play bishop h5, trying to attack the knight and pinning it. And here the knight at c just move to e7, and now the queen continue to develop and move to g3. Then the rook to g7, and after this the white trying to play rook to g2, and with the idea of bring the rook to g1, and you have a triple piece to attack in the g file. So after this, knight to d5 was played, trying to exchange off the knight or to capture the c3 pawn. And here the white just capture the knight and queen capture the knight. And this is a first 30 move. And the black is clearly better and able to prevent the attack from the white. And here the black is winning 2 points ahead. So now the white need to find some idea to continue the attack, and with this the white just play bishop to f3, trying to attack the queen. And after this, queen to d7 was played, and in this position the best move will be queen to d8. And if you have a rook a to g1, then now you can just continue to storm with the pawn a5, a4, a3, a2, and a1, and we propose to become a queen. So after queen to d7 play, then the white continue to play queen to g5. Then rook a to g8, bring up another rook, and now rook a to g1, and here the white will continue to have a triple piece to attack at the g file. After this, white can just continue to play rook to f6 and pinning the king. And you can just bring the knight. So for move, if you made example move such as a pawn move, then the queen can go to f6. And if you move the pawn move, then here you can see the white is clearly winning with the sacrifice ideas by using rook takes the knight. And now the rook cannot capture it, you only can capture it with the pawn. And if you pawn capture it, then the rook will just capture it. And now if any move from the black such as a3, then you just have a simple checkmate with the rook. So that's the reason why the queen goes to f6 and pin the rook. And back to this rook g1. In the actual game, the black move rook to f7. And after this, now the white play h4 and storm with the pawn and attack the knight. So in the actual game, h4 was played. After this, the rook g to g7. Then h5 continued to play from the white to attack the knight. And now the knight to f8. And here the white still cannot do anything in this position. And the white just move queen to h6. Another suggestion you can play is like queen to h4, threatening to mate with rook takes g7, and also goes to g8 and will be a checkmate. So after this, you can just use rook capture and king capture, and here the white will be just slightly better in the position. So in the actual game, queen h6 was played, and now the king moved to g8 then to g5, continue the attack, and here the king, the bishop to c8 was played, and still the position, the white can't do much in this position. It still have not enough material to do the attack. And after this, king h2 was played, and here to see what the black going to play in this game. So after this, a5 was played, and we see there's nothing much can be done. Then now come the brilliant move, and the white win and mate in 16 move. So the fantastic move at this move 39 is using the bishop to attack the queen and control this diagonal, and the bishop also control another diagonal. So after this move, the bishop just take the pawn, and if you use the queen to capture it, then you'll be the mate in 2, such as rook takes the rook. And now if you use rook takes, then you can just use queen takes, and it will be a checkmate. And if you move the king to h8, then you have a rook to g8, and it will be a checkmate as well. So back to this position, if you use a rook to check the king, and if you use the rook to take, then if you use the rook to capture, it also will be a checkmate. For example, after take this, the king to h8, now the queen cannot capture because the knight is protecting it. So you can just use a queen to g8, and this is one of the beautiful sacrifice. After king capture, then you can just use a queen to capture the knight, and you'll be a checkmate. So you have a very beautiful combination. So after bishop take c6, and the white is completely winning in the game. And in the actual game, the black play a queen to c7, and here the white is winning, and in this position the white play bishop to e8, and here this rook is going to lose, as the bishop able to control these two diagonal, and the another bishop is control another square. So therefore the rook has no place to move, and you see all is a red color, and any move that the black move will be caused in the losing of the game. and therefore after this the black resign the game at move 40. If you want to continue the game and the rook move rook to e8 to prevent the diagonal attack, then the bishop just capture the rook, and after queen capture it, then you can just use rook to attack and check. And now nothing much the black can do, and if you use the queen to capture, then the queen will just capture and it will be a checkmate. And with this, thank you.